Hey, welcome to the podcast, ProBROknow.
Welcome.
That
bros.
was quite the radio voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast.
You're wide,
Yeah.
wide awake this morning. Welcome to the
I
podcast.
am wide awake. I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I had like a shot.
Did you? Of what? Like ginseng?
No, it's
Oh, an espresso kind of thing?
they're called Mind Med or Magic Mind or something. Yeah.
Like an energy shot.
Yeah.
The ones we've had before that you've given us? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Gives
don't
you,
know.
gives you clarity.
Forgot my glasses.
Yeah, it gives me energy boost anyways. So anyways, how you guys doing? Good?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm great.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is our jam, eh? Every Sunday.
Yep.
You guys excited for the podcast today?
Well,
I don't know. I don't know yet.
Don't know the topic.
It's
I
your
guess I'll
topic, so we're gonna
find
have
out.
to. We're gonna have to see if it's acceptable.
So I was kind of flip-flopping between two ideas. And
Okay.
I think I'm going to choose the safer topic today.
Okay.
I'll save the other one for maybe another time. But
Sure.
I figured today it might be good to talk about your biggest fear. Like, what is your biggest fear? And then from that, I want to morph into,
Like
just,
drowning, like that kind of those
well,
kind of
whatever.
fears.
If that's your biggest fear, yeah, I guess. I'm not sure why drowning would be. That's supposed to be very peaceful. But anyways, you guys
Doesn't
ready to
sound
dive
peaceful,
in?
but-
You want to try
Speaking
this?
of drowning,
Sure.
Dive in.
I'm just trying to think of what I'm going to talk about, but okay.
Yeah.
Let's dive in.
All right, let's go.
okay.
Okay, so the reason I kind of chose this topic is that obviously I've got my own, personal fears.
Clearly, if you're bringing it up,
Yeah, well, I think everyone has a
spiders.
fear.
Spiders.
Well, I'm not talking that. I don't like spiders.
You're not talking phobias. You're talking of fear.
Yeah, I've had to deal with spiders. I've got, 3 girls and, when there's a bug in the house, I'm usually the person who gets called to deal with it. So
I was just going to say, how do you deal with it when you're like so scared of spiders and they're asking you to,
I've had
go
to deal with
squish
it.
them?
And luckily we don't have any massive ones, in the basement. I gotta
Imagine
deal
if you
with.
like lived in Australia or something.
Yeah,
and you
no.
had to
Oh,
chase
no.
those monster.
They're not calling me
tarantulas.
then. No.
No, spider the size of your fist walking. Yeah.
I'd
no.
have to hire somebody to be like a spider killer that
Yeah.
I have on speed dial.
Yeah.
I would not be doing those big, massive Australian spiders. No way.
Okay. So, anyways, fears.
Yeah. So I think like for probably all of us, I'm going to say we probably have this fear. It's still not my fear, but I think it's one of my fears, which is, like something happening to my family or my kids getting
The worst.
kidnapped.
Yeah.
Right. That's, I guess I have 2 fears. That's the first one. I guess they're probably neck and neck is, one of my children getting kidnapped.
Oh,
And then like just all of it, like one day one of them doesn't come home and you're just left wondering, your mind is just racing. Like, what is happening? Did someone,
yep.
did they get killed? Did they get kidnapped? Did they, are they still alive? Like just, you would never have closure. And I think that would just be horrendous.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's even worse than them dying because
Yeah, 'cause you
you
don't
have
know.
no closure.
Not knowing. Yeah.
Not
You've got
knowing.
this hope that maybe they're still alive, or are they, are they screaming for your help and you're not able to help them? Like it's just,
That's the worst. That's capital FEAR. That one.
yeah.
What does that spell, Chad?
I believe that's
Fair.
Fair. Yes, that's fair.
How you say fair?
Yeah. But that is a big one for me. But right up there with that, I think for me is like a home invasion.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
You were scared of that a lot as a kid.
You've always had that fear.
I remember
so.
like always you be like armed with a kitchen knife or
I
something.
did, yeah.
I know.
Brings back some funny stories,
It
to
does
be
have
honest.
a lot of funny
Yeah, it
stories.
does.
That's a good one though. That's for sure. That's a tough question. What my biggest fear is? I'm not sure I've ever thought about my biggest fear. I have fears, like you. I don't know if I can think of a biggest one.
Well, see, I think the home invasion for me is big only because, I've had alarm systems, in my house. And when you have an alarm system and if you get like a false alarm,
Yeah, that
It's-
freak you out.
it doesn't just freak you out. Like you get startled awake at 4 a.m. or whatever it was. I think one time it was probably 3. And I'm woken up by the entire, sirens and loud boop, boop, boop. And, it's
And you think someone's in the house? Yeah.
well, there was no question. I thought someone was in the house.
It was a spider.
No, it wasn't.
Wait,
Actually.
the big Australian spider. Yeah.
It was just, I don't even know what it was.
But I think for that reason, you don't set your alarm anymore.
Right. Because
Yeah.
I would
night.
rather, wake up with someone, standing over me in my bedroom and then have to deal with it then than waking up and hearing that alarm and
And going
jolting
through
me
the
out and
house.
then not knowing why is it going off.
And having to walk down
And
the
now
stairs.
I've got to go.
I know.
gotta
I was just thinking, how many
Yeah.
times have we all been where we thought maybe there was a noise, somebody was in the house, and the fear of just going through the house to check
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
is intense.
I know, but when you
Yeah.
hear a noise, you can kind of be like, was there a noise? Or did I just maybe wake? Did I hear something?
Yeah, if you
was
hear
I
a thump,
dreaming?
if you hear a
Right.
big thump, you're like, was I dreaming that?
You can kind of probably
Yeah.
still go back to bed if you needed to. Like I know for me, I'd have to check it out.
No, that's when you say, "Hon, can you just go down and check real quick?"
But when the alarm is like, boop, 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 you have no choice but to
Yeah.
deal with it, and it is like petrifying. I can say firsthand, it is not a good feeling.
Well, I'm trying to think of where it was where you live, Spence. It could have been KW, where something was banging against your
it was
garage
in,
or something.
Yeah, it was Mississauga.
Mississauga.
Yeah, we
was
were
it like a tree or something banging against
No.
your?
So we had a garage and then there was like a breezeway and then the house. And I guess when we came in from the garage, we parked in the garage and we didn't close the one garage door. It was just like a door and we didn't close it tight. And I guess it got windy or whatever. This is wintertime too. So I don't know. Started snowing and wind started picking up. And I woke up to hear, the door was, I guess, blew open and then was, blowing, closed and open and closed. So it was just like, poof, poof, poof. And so again, hearing that, it's so close to the house, the garage was. I woke up and I heard that. I heard the one bang. And then I was, kind of quiet, laying in bed, like making sure, like, did I really hear something? And then I think I startled Tina. So then she was, she turned on, she's like, wow, why? Starts talking. I'm like, shh, right? Because now she's making too much
Yeah,
noise.
we've all done that.
Now-
I'm trying
now
to
that-
hear.
Now,
And she's
now
like,
they
"What?"
know
Yeah.
that you're upstairs, right? And they're coming. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then I hear like, and then she's like, what is that? I'm like, babe, like if someone's in the house, they're going to hear us talking and they're going to be coming up to find us and kill us. So I'm trying to make her be
Oh
quiet.
my God, that's so similar.
And then
That's
I'm still
funny.
like, I got like my dog hearing on. It's like,
Steve Austin.
seriously, it's crazy how heightened all your senses become.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But then I heard like, like two more big bangs, and then I was convinced, holy shit, someone's in the house. They just got in, and so I jump out of bed, and I was so scared. I don't even want to admit this, but I was so scared, and I knew I had to. Like instinct was just I have to confront whoever is breaking into my house. But when I got up, I told Tina to call 911. And I know yeah, but I didn't say like, "Hey, babe, call 911." I was so much adrenaline was like flowing through me that I couldn't even like talk, and I just said like, "Babe, call 911." And she's like, "What?" Because she couldn't even understand what I said.
She's like, "Do you want a glass of milk?"
Honestly, and then I said it again. I was like, "Call 911." And I said that as I was like running out of the room to like run down the stairs. And I just remember my heart was just like beating out of my chest. I don't even know how
You flew down the
I
stairs.
did. I probably touched like 2 steps and I was just like jumping. And I then was like going through my house, like, ready to confront someone. So every corner, every turn that I made, I was just like, and like screaming and yelling just because I thought, I don't know who I'm going to confront.
That's terrifying.
Honestly, it was.
So did she call 911?
No.
She didn't.
No, I think she waited.
She went back to
I think
sleep.
she had it ready. No, I think she had like 911.
It's like, "Hon, I'm tired."
She's waiting to hear the screams
to
of
hear
murder.
like a commotion or something,
Right.
Or like a gunshot. I don't know. I have no idea what she was waiting for. But yeah, luckily she didn't. We would have been kind of silly when we realized that it was just.
That sounds a little scary.
Honestly, it was one of the most scared I've been in a house thinking someone was coming in.
And I'm not making light of it because I've been there, but when you're saying Tina's talking, you're like, be quiet. Mm-hmm. What Sue will do is I'll hear a noise and then I'll start to skulk down the stairs quietly to see if I can catch them. Right. And then I hear, wait, I'm like, shh, be quiet. Are you okay? Like, because I'm trying to be quiet.
She's getting rid of your cover of darkness.
Right.
There,
I'm trying to sneak down the stairs to confront this person.
Why are you going downstairs?
Right. She's like shining a flashlight on you.
Are you on the second landing now?
Are you okay? Here she's got the flashlight, F5000.
Yeah.
You're lighting up.
You got your phone and she's calling yourself.
Are you in the living room now?
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I think probably a home invasion would be out there for me. That would be that'd be scary
for sure.
But I think probably my kids, just things happening to my kids. I mean, we all have kids who are now adults. But I know when Ali went to the UK, to Paris, and
recently,
the UK, that stuff. My head goes to like the worst possible thing, right? Like something's going to happen. They're going to get kidnapped. Trafficking is really big right now.
I have a unique set of skills.
Yeah.
I will find you.
Right. Yeah. So when I think about the kids, probably I go to the place of sex trafficking. That scares me. That scares me.
That's pretty deep.
Well, because that would be horrific, especially if you knew that's what happened to them, because now they're in this world that you can't protect them and they're being abused and God knows what else.
Yep.
And you're living with that knowledge of what's happening to them and you can't do anything about it. That would be
I agree.
Horrific.
Well, you guys know that, I mean, you remember the story from when, my kids, quote, went missing for a brief period of time. And we were in that panic mode of, we were living out in the country and there had just been I guess I'll call it a sighting days before at one of our neighbors where a van had pulled up out front and their kids were playing out front and they were trying to entice the kids into the van. And the kids didn't go in the van. The parents came out of the house and the van took off. But that was 2 doors away from me, right? So, and then all of a sudden we're looking for our kids one day.
Is that when you sold the van after that?
Is that when you had the white van or the red van? Which one?
Yeah. Exactly. No, that. Wow.
Chad's like, they're on to me.
Oh, man. That's so bad. Anyways, they were playing downstairs, at least, so we thought. We called them for dinner. Hey, guys, come for dinner. And there was nothing. They didn't answer. Like, guys, where are you? Ryan, Julia, yelling through the house. Nobody's answering and you start panicking. Then you call the neighbor. Are they over there playing? They're not there. You go to the store across the road. They're not there. You go in the backyard. And then you're starting to really panic because I don't know how old they were, but I'm going to say, 10 and 7 or maybe younger than that. I'm not sure. Pretty young. And so anyways, finally, we're starting to lose it. And I've called the neighbors and I'm saying, like, everybody start scouring, yell their names. I was losing it big time.
You were convinced they were missing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it probably only been 5 or 6 minutes, but when your kids are that young and they're normally only in your backyard or in the house, you start freaking out a little bit.
I forget, where were they in the end?
Well, I don't want to spoil the story, but
okay.
Continue then.
Yeah. They were in the white van eating candy.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just kidding. No.
Anyways, we got in. I got in my car and I started driving around the neighborhood, and I mean, I was doing 100 down, subdivision streets, just trying to find it, yelling out of the car. I was crying, like it was so bad. We had all the neighbors looking, and probably after about 20 minutes. We're just, beside ourselves. Like, we don't know where they are. We're going to have to call the police. And Missy went down the hallway and opened our bedroom door, and they were in our bedroom watching TV.
Oh. Yeah, they couldn't hear you calling them?
No, that's what we were. I remember yelling at them so much because I was so upset that
I was so scared.
Why did we do that?
Why
did we do that?
The crap out of my kids.
It's true.
Well,
I can't believe. Why did you answer me?
I know it's so true, right? But they. For whatever reason, they had the TV up. They couldn't hear it. We were yelling in the house at the top of our lungs, and they were not answering. And we thought they were gone. That is by far the most scared I've been in my life, for sure, as far as fear goes. And involving kids. Brutal.
So that's your biggest fear? You experienced it?
I mean, that is definitely a huge fear. And having to live that, even for that brief period of time. I mean, if that's not the biggest, it's definitely up there.
I do have another one, and it's never happened. I hope it never does. Being in a fight where you're getting seriously hurt and they're still coming at you. Because back when we were younger, if you were involved in any kind of a fight, typically the fight was over. If someone fell down, it was like the fight's over. Now it's like
it's much more
curb
vicious.
stomp them.
Yeah.
Stomp on their head until they pass out, put them in the hospital, maybe kill them. Like there's just that the same regard now for life.
Scary for sure.
Yeah, so I think that's probably one of my fears. Like, what if you're in that kind of a situation and they're
Relentless.
They're relentless. Yeah, or your loved one's getting beat up like that, and you can't stop it. And like you think, oh my God, this person's going to die. Like they're just not stopping. That would be tough.
I've thought about that before too. Like just, imagine like being kidnapped by somebody and they've got a gun on you and they're holding it and say, don't move. And then they were just like, let's say like smacking the heck out of your wife or something. And they're saying, if you get off this chair, I'm going to put a bullet in you. And you're watching somebody else get attacked or visually assaulted.
So that's interesting. So that brings up another question that's kind of getting a bit off topic, I guess.
It's a pretty dark topic, actually.
It is.
But do you sit there or do you?
That's the question. Because I think in my head, I honestly think I wouldn't sit there. I would do something.
He's going to pull out his watch.
Wow.
I think I would do something, but I can say that because we're just sitting here in the comfort of this house. But in the moment, you don't know. But in my head, I think because that stuff makes me so angry. Like even watching movies where someone's bullying someone else, or they've got a gun and now they're making someone do something, or they're sexually assaulting the guy's wife at gunpoint.
Yes.
That just makes me so angry that I'm
agree.
like, I couldn't just sit there and do nothing.
Yeah, I don't think I could either. I think I'd probably get, in that situation.
You might
I'd
get shot.
Of course, yeah. But I think I would have to just.
I
would rather
it'd be
do
pretty hard to
that
sit there.
than be sitting there hearing and watching.
I'd rather die
whatever's
than
happening.
sit here and watch it. Absolutely.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least I died trying to prevent it from happening
Yeah.
or to save somebody.
Yeah, you would hope you wouldn't freeze because, I remember telling you the story about just freezing, when I thought somebody was in the house and I literally couldn't take a breath or get out. I was like a block of concrete.
I think he had sleep paralysis then.
Well, maybe so, but I often, worry that if I got into one of those sort of precarious
That you're a
situations,
freeze guy,
that I would freeze as opposed to
fighter.
reacting and doing what I need to do.
Well, I hope to
you
God
don't know.
nothing's happening to me if you're with me, because God knows I'm dead.
Where's my backup? It's
Chad's
Chad. Chad, help me.
Yeah. Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
I got your back, Spence.
Yeah. Thanks, Wade.
I'll do it. So I have an irrational. I know it's irrational fear of sharks. Which I didn't always have it.
I don't think I'm too bothered by sharks.
Yeah, I don't know why it is. Like I still obviously swim in the ocean, but I am always very aware that there could be a shark nearby. If you remember in Jamaica when you guys got married in Jamaica, and Dad and I went out on the catamaran and we flipped it over.
Yep.
Right off the shore, straight upside down.
And sailor.
Yeah. And I remember landing in the water and I was like, I got out of that thing so quickly, like back on the boat so quickly because I just
You were
thought,
like, Jesus.
yeah, I was walking on water because I just
Sorry,
thought,
why was? Oh, okay, never mind.
yeah, walking on water. How's your Bible studies going,
Yeah,
Chad?
I missed that
Skipped.
class.
Yeah, you skipped that
I
day.
did.
I just remember thinking, oh my God, I've got to get out of the water. And I also went parasailing that same time. And I said to the guy driving the boat, don't drop me in the water. Like I want to stay out of the water.
I told him, I'm like, no, dip him.
And
dip his feet in.
and he dipped me in the water, and
did?
I was not happy. Like
Wade was petrified.
I'm in the middle of the open ocean. I'm in the water, like going, oh my God, get me out of here.
I will admit when I'm trying to think of where we were, Puerto Plata or something, and Missy and I did it tandem.
Yep.
And I remember that was the first time I'd ever done it. And I remember thinking, if that rope snaps, like we're going to fall right into Sharkville.
Exactly.
So I did think about it then.
Exactly. Because I was in the big open part of the ocean, and he dropped me in the water, and I was like, I do not like this.
Yeah, there's still a reef though all around Jamaica, so I don't think any sharks can get in.
No?
Oh, come on.
No, there's like a reef there. I think it protects. Well, I think that's why they say there's really no sharks in Jamaica.
I've never even heard that.
Yeah. It's kind of surrounded by a big reef.
So where there are sharks, though, is Bahamas. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of sharks in Bahamas. And if you remember, we went swimming on the reef with the kids when they were very young. And I was paranoid that whole time because it was murky. And we're snorkeling. And I remember the kids were very young and we're enjoying it. But I remember thinking, I can't see more than like 10 feet in front of me. And we wouldn't even know if there's something coming up.
Well, that
and
was
the kids
different.
were young.
Yeah. So when we went there, I know the one time we were at the shore and maybe it was, I don't know, 4 feet. We went out. So
Okay.
you'd think typically, kind of knee-high water.
Not true anymore, though. Yeah.
It's not true because I've seen videos where there's shark that come
they're
like
coming
within,
right to the shore.
Yeah, like it's crazy.
More and more these days they are. Yeah.
So, and back then I always thought, okay, well, we're only in knee-deep water, we're fine. But that's not the case anymore. But when we went to that reef, we took, did they have a boat or something, or a raft or something?
A raft,
we went on.
yeah.
And then we went out past, like it was deep water.
It was.
And I am like you. Then when we were the kids were swimming and they're splashing and they're screaming, high pitched screams. And I'm just like, they're just like calling for sharks. It's like a shark mating call or something.
Exactly.
And
It was like they were chumming the water.
yeah, honestly. And I remember going like down with the goggles.
Yep.
And, and I had the snorkel and I kept on, I wanted to keep on looking like a 360 to make sure. And I was kind of like you when you were under the boat trying to fix it. It was just like that. I was very winded and, very aware that.
So do you have a fear of sharks then?
I didn't think I
Sorry,
did.
that was just a cough.
Oh, I
Sorry.
thought you were.
I think I did. I think I do. I never knew that I did until we went to that reef and we're out past the reef into the open water. And that's where I really felt exposed. Like,
Yeah.
I
Just because
really
I couldn't
to
see all around me, and probably more so because the kids were there. Because I just thought if someone's going to get eaten, it's going to be the kids, and I'm going to see it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they took one look at your legs and they're like, no.
Yeah, it wouldn't feed them enough. They'd be starving afterwards.
Well, I thought they put the shark probably thought you were a kid.
Look at the octopus.
Let's go with this kid.
Look at this. Look at this squid.
Jesus, this 10-year-old has hairy legs.
But yeah, I never knew I had a fear of sharks. But and again, I'm like you. I still swim in the ocean.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm definitely aware that there's a lot of things in there that can kill me.
And
I'm not just going to be, swimming for hours on end
No.
in the ocean. I'm going to jump in, cool off, and get out as quick as possible.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
What's interesting, when we went to Greece, you and Tina and Sue and I, we found that one beach and we were out. It was only like up to our waist for quite a ways. But did you even think about sharks at that point in time? I didn't either.
But there's so many other people in the water. I just figured like
Someone's going to
if I
get
see
it.
be a
someone
slower
getting
swimmer
like
than you.
pulled under, I'm kind of gonna be like,
Well, we kind of felt protected in this little area, but really,
no, it was just a cove.
it was just a cove. But I didn't even think about it then,
Yeah.
which is probably because I could see all around. It was very clear. So I could see.
You could see the shark, barreling towards
Well, at least
you.
I could have a fighting chance of getting out of the way. But when you
Yeah.
can't see it, it's like, I think my fear would be actually, when we talk about biggest fears, because I've seen movies about this, getting shipwrecked or your boat collapses in the middle of the open ocean and now you're floating in the ocean and it's nighttime. You can't see underneath you.
So like
it's
you
pitch
don't,
black.
You don't have a raft or anything.
Yeah.
Under.
And you're
just
feeling
your legs dangling.
You got
in
a
the water.
life jacket and you're dangling. You feel things hitting your legs. You're like,
yeah,
what
no.
the heck is that?
Yeah,
No, that would not be fun.
Yeah, I agree. I got a question. This is along the same lines with what you're talking about, but do you have a fear of drowning ever since you were in Tofino?
Oh,
No, even when that was happening, and I thought this might be it. I don't even remember really panicking. I just kind of thought like, "Oh shit, I'm about to drown." But it wasn't like, I wasn't like a fear. It was just more a realization, like,
Didn't you say like you were just worried like, oh my God, my kids are going to see me drown?
Yeah, my kids are going to watch,
Yeah.
be there to watch their dad drown. Yeah.
oh, that story gives me chills
Yeah,
still
that's-
just thinking
that's
about
I
it.
know. Well, it was brutal. It was so stupid of me, but yeah. But yeah, it wasn't. It's not that nowhere near the same kind of fear as like, And again, I should have been afraid of, sharks out there.
Yeah, you should have been, and you weren't.
I didn't even think about it.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
No, I was just wondering. It just
You were too busy thinking about
think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was probably too busy thinking like
drowning.
I'm going to drown. So
You still wonder how you get out of that alive?
yeah, honestly, I kind of do. I don't know how it really happened, but yeah, it was probably probably the scariest moment I've had in the water.
That's probably a podcast topic in itself of just scariest things that have happened to
Yeah,
you
that's
in
probably
your,
a good-
life,
yeah,
actually, or something. Something.
We'll save
along
that
those lines.
for. Stay tuned for next week's.
Yes.
Yeah,
podcast.
that'd be very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
So what's yours, Chad? Did you? Obviously, you talked about your kids.
I talked about
but-
the kids for sure, but I think you maybe alluded to it, Wade, about the idea of like I think about like the whole sex slave thing and stuff like that, about just your kids being abducted or finding out that they were trafficked or something like that, and you know that they're just going through just horrific sort of stuff, and you're trying to find them and just beside yourself. I mean,
Yep.
I've also, and it's a very dark thought, and I think I said it to you. I don't know if I said it on another podcast, but the idea of your wife being sexually assaulted and that you'd be helpless and not being able to help her. That's a, I don't know if it's a fear, but I don't know if it's a valid fear, because I mean, I think the odds of that happening are relatively slim, but I mean, that just scares the thought of me. Thinking about that is,
Well, I think it just brings up that feeling of being powerless.
Yeah,
yeah,
helplessness.
that's what it is. Yeah, helplessness. Yeah. I think those things are sort of top of mind.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked earlier about in a different podcast about aging. So probably a fear of mine would be combining the home invasion with aging. When you get to the point that you can't really look after yourself anymore or defend yourself as well as you would like, and then someone assaults you, that's probably a fear of mine. When you're
Assault you personally, like
Well,
just
'cause
because
right-
you're old and couldn't
well,
defend
because
yourself.
right now, I mean, there's always obviously someone stronger and out there, but right now, I just feel like I would fight back and I would do okay, and I like you just feel like you would protect yourself. But at some point in your life, you're going to get to a point where you can't do that anymore, and that would be a fear. Because I guess it's the fear of being vulnerable. Would be the fear.
I guess when I get older, you're just going to see me walking around like big shotgun strapped on my back or everywhere I
You're
go.
going to live in Texas? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Or you can have a shotgun in Canada.
You can't carry it.
I don't know what
but
the
they-
stipulations. I don't
if
have
you're-
one, so I couldn't tell you. But
But I think in your house, you just can't have handguns.
Yeah, you can't open carry.
Yeah.
Well, you can have a handgun in your house too.
No, you can't.
Can you?
Handguns are illegal.
Oh, I guess they are now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know somebody that's a private investigator that has a gun license and has a mixture of guns in a safe in their house here in
He may have
London.
been grandfathered before they made
Oh,
handguns
maybe
illegal.
was that recent?
Is recent.
changes?
Yeah, but you can't. He can never sell that gun because no one can buy it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's kind
I'm
of
not really a gun
pointless.
person, so it's,
No,
I'm not either, but
No.
I guess if I'm older and I feel like I can't defend myself, that's one way you can defend yourself is to have up some sort of a weapon
very true.
or get a really mean dog.
Yeah.
Get a pit
So
bull.
here's a potential. I'm going to ask you guys if you have a fear of this, or if maybe you haven't thought about it. Being attacked by an animal, a bear attack, crocodile.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I thought about a bear before when I've been in Algonquin. But I've just, you're kind of looking around thinking like, what if, a bear comes onto the island or something? I've seen one from a distance, a brown bear, but not close enough that I've ever been that worried about it. But I've thought about it.
Yeah, when Madison and I went hiking up in Alberta, I was obviously acutely aware that we are in,
Bear country.
bear country and grizzly country specifically.
cougars.
Yeah. Probably cougars scare me more than a bear, but
For sure.
as we were walking, I was, it's crazy. I know I talked about this before about, all your senses being heightened. But even hiking, I was acutely aware of my surroundings and, again, having that, acute hearing and sense of everything to know your surroundings and to be hearing every little twig that might snap.
Well, you're also on protective father mode too.
Well, that's the other thing too, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
If I was by myself, maybe I wasn't going to be, as paranoid. But knowing I had Madison there, and I'm like, if a bear comes running out at us, I'm pretty sure I can run faster than she can.
I was gonna say.
Actually, she'd probably say the opposite. She'd be like, no, Dad, I am sprinting past you. And
She's like, Dad, you're old. You're not going to outrun me.
You're going to be a big meal for the bear. But,
That's right.
But yeah, even when we got to the cabin, which was, I don't know what it was, like 15 or 10K in the interior, there was a grizzly just out like off to the side of where the cabin was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we went in there and the people are like, "Oh yeah, just don't go over there to the left."
Really?
There's a big grizzly there. He's been there all morning eating dandelions, and I'm just like, "What?" Yeah.
That's whack.
And then at nighttime, you're walking out to like the outhouse, which was 100 feet from the cabin where everyone was staying, and we're getting ready to go to bed, and I had to go to the bathroom. I'm like, Madison, do you want to come walking with me outside?
Yeah.
Because it's pitch dark. I don't know what I'm walking into.
Yes, I wouldn't like that.
Yeah, I did not like it at all.
When you can't see your surroundings, that's what I get a little fearful.
Well, I had my flashlight, but I felt like Blair Witch Project. I'm just like, shining the light.
I'm so scared.
Honestly,
I'm so scared.
Exactly.
it was not fun. Yeah.
Wow.
But I don't really have. I guess I was a little more heightened about the bear, but I don't really think about animals attacking me.
So your fears are primarily just what you're talking about the kids or the home invasion.
Well, I had one fear too, which I think I shared with Missy
Not sure.
I think it was a few weeks ago we were talking about this, and I'm sure it's still a fear of mine. But it was, getting in an accident, like a car accident, and like dying on the side of the road without anyone around. Like you lost control, or you got in a big wreck, and then you have this realization, like I'm dying.
No one's coming,
right?
Yeah.
And I don't have family with me. No one's going to be there.
Yeah,
and I die by myself. I think that would be a horrible way to go.
To die. So is it the fear of dying alone, or specifically a car accident?
I think just dying alone.
Yeah,
The car accident just made it helped propel the story that I would maybe be alone. I was driving, but
I know that's Sue's fear. Sue's fear is me getting to a car accident in the winter, or her fear is actually in a car accident in the winter, and then you can't get help in time, and you're freezing to death, and you're bleeding out, and no one's coming, and you die on the road. That's her.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is pretty dark.
Well, it is. Well, fears are pretty dark for
Yeah.
the most part. Yeah.
yeah. Sorry for bringing everyone down on the podcast.
No, I think
we're
lots
also-
of people.
I'm trying to find some good humor to throw in there, but it's tough.
No, I think a lot of people have fears like that, and they're not always rational. That's
yeah.
I remember years ago when I worked in St. Thomas, I used to go number 3 I drove number 3 all the time, and there was this little hill that went down, and then there was like a ravine, and there was a little fence there, and I had this vivid dream one night of driving to work to St. Thomas, and my car going off that ravine and like flying through the air and landing somewhere in the woods. And the dream was so real that for the next little while driving to St. Thomas and hitting that spot, I was like it freaked me out. And it's so real that I remember thinking in the dream, oh my God, I'm dying. This is it. Like this is how I die. It was so real to me. Yeah.
Crazy. I thought you were always afraid of like drowning. Like that was a big fear of yours.
Well, I certainly don't. I'm not looking forward to drowning. I mean, that's what. I don't not go swimming because I'm afraid I'm going to drown. I'm not scared of it like that. But as much as people say that would be a good way to go, I don't think for me it would be a good way to go. No.
Just the thought of not being able to take a breath.
Yeah, taking that breath and realizing that you just took a gallon of water.
Then it's over.
And it's yeah.
But then it's over.
But then it's peaceful.
Yeah, but is it over though? I don't know. You take that one big swig and then it's like, oh, okay. Or is it like, oh crap, now I'm choking on water?
Well, it's a good question.
Because in your mind, you're thinking of not being able to take a breath and the panic that might set in because of that. But
I think that's
maybe
the fear.
once you're submerged.
Maybe the fear is of the unknown fear of what actually happens when you drown.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that. I think the calming part probably comes much later, but it's everything leading up to it that would be not very calming.
Well, yeah, when you're sitting there,
Like,
you know
knowing
that
you
you're
can't
starting
take a
to sip water. Or
Yeah.
you're in a closed space and just it's filling up with water and you can't get out. Like the submarine.
Oh, God.
That's like
You're doing
you're 2,000 leagues under the sea, and the submarine is filling, and you're just watching that last little inch get smaller and
Yeah,
smaller.
that would be brutal.
Yeah, that's scary as all heck.
So how is it calming, I wonder? Because if you take a breath of water, I imagine you're going to cough and take another thing of water, and then you're probably just,
But I think it fills your lungs, and so you
then you're
can't.
just done.
Yeah, you can't breathe, you can't cough because it's just.
But are you still conscious?
I think you are. Yeah.
Well, that
And then you
sounds
just
super
have-
calming.
Yeah, how's that calming?
But I don't know. Yeah, I've never drowned. I can't tell you.
Yeah.
You almost did.
I almost did, but
I'm glad you didn't, buddy.
Yeah.
otherwise I could have been a whole different podcast. I could have told you what it was like
Yeah, that
to
would.
drown.
I certainly don't want to know that somebody drowned, but at the same time, I would be curious to know if somebody could actually recollect.
Well, I think that's how they know that it's calming. I think people that have
You think,
drowned.
You think when people are rescued and they spit up all the water and they get mouth to mouth, whatever, resuscitated, you think that they're coming back and saying, "This is what I saw." And
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Dad almost drowned at one point.
What?
And I'm not talking about in the Navy when he fell off the ship. A time before that. We should ask him because I think he did. I think he almost did when he was younger.
But I think that's why they know that it's calming, is that people have had that experience, and when they got obviously,
I mean, I guess that makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
when they got saved, that's what they recollected.
Well, my fear is that it's not very calming, so I'm hopefully not going to experience it. That's what I know.
Anyway, as you said, it was kind of a bit of a dark topic, but I think it's pretty common to have those. Everyone has fears like that.
I would bet the ones we were talking about today are common with a lot of people.
I think so.
You know.
Well, if anything, it's going to spur some interesting conversation around the dinner table of, people's fears.
Yeah, maybe they'll add, if you're watching, add your comments and tell us your fears. We'll make fun of it at the next podcast.
There's a humor.
Maybe we're going to find a new fear that we didn't know we had until we read someone else's
that's
comment
true.
of their fear.
Spencer's fear is being tied down and a big bucket of spiders being poured on him.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's a fear, but I would not like that.
No.
You would lose your shit.
Well, do you remember Fear Factor, that TV show?
Oh yeah, when
They always did that kind of stuff, right?
You lock them in with like just their
Yeah.
head
Their
would
head
be
in
sticking into like a
spiders,
glass box, and then you
tarantulas.
just pile all the stuff on top.
Or worms or snakes. Snakes would get me. I'm not a big snake fan.
Well, I'm pretty sure if there's a tarantula crawling on you, you're not just like.
I could actually handle tarantula much more than a snake.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chad, next podcast we'll get a
So next
tarantula in
podcast,
here.
we're going to put you in a plastic
And we will,
plastic box.
I do not
with
like
a bunch of tarantulas.
I do not like reptiles.
Okay, but tarantulas are okay.
I didn't say they're okay. If
Well, you
I
said
had,
you could do
if
it.
I had to do one or the other,
Yeah,
I would
he's
do.
backpedaling now. Yeah.
Because trust me, I will pay
Because I know you
to
guys,
get a
you'll do it.
tarantula handler in here, guaranteed.
You're gonna put
Bring
me in
in
a
a
little,
tarantula handler?
a little
I will.
bubble.
I
and-
will get one of those guys that comes around.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I will definitely pay to have someone put some tarantulas.
Next will
on
be like the Kings of Pain, and we'll start putting our arms
yeah.
in.
That show
you.
is
Oh my
crazy.
god, I can't wait for the next podcast.
I know.
Yeah, is that right? Well,
Cool.
I think we've wrapped up the bulk of our big fears anyway.
Yeah.
So that's interesting topic, Spence.
Yeah.
Well, wait for the next podcast when
Yes.
they share my other one. That
Join
was,
join us next week for tarantula what do you call them? Handlers?
Yeah.
Tarantula handlers.
we'll see how Wade really does with that fear.
Well, I'm going to bring in the spider handler too for you.
You should wait.
Yeah. About
should.
3,000 daddy long legs, all
I don't
crawling
care
in
about that.
Spencer's
Yeah,
nose and
no
ear.
big deal.
Whatever.
Anyways, well, it was a great topic. Thank you for bringing it, and thanks once again. A quick shout out to Wow Finds Worldwide for the cold beverages. Feel free to check them out online at wowfindsworldwide.com, and of course use the code ProBROknow to get a discount. So there you go.
All right, fellas.
See you
next
guys
time.
next week.
Yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for coming.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Ciao.